guys that Chris talked to, and you were you one of those he talked to first?
Look, you just have to look at that original photo.
Yeah,
You know,
there it is. Yeah, that's pretty
Chris
cool.
and Eric Seidel, John DeWanda, Phil Gordon, Phil Ivey.
Is this a group that you consider more or less old friends?
Many of them, yes. Certainly, Eric Seidel is one of my oldest friends. Yeah. He was playing in that original New York game.
Did that make it? I mean, easier or better for you to work together as friends also, and trusting each other and so on?
Yeah, definitely. People pulling together and having a vision and trying to make it happen was great. There were a lot of poker sites out there that, quite frankly, we thought were very poorly designed. And I'm not talking. We didn't know enough about software design and scalability and all that stuff. I'm not talking at that. I'm just talking about where are the buttons.
Yeah. He says that.
What does the table look like? What do the cards look like? And you could tell, like a lot of poker sites, particularly back then, they were developed by bingo sites and casino sites and sports books, and where they said, oh yeah, this poker thing's taking off. Let's build a poker site, and they didn't know where the buttons should go. They didn't, so that was kind of fun to literally start arguing over. No, the button should be over here. No, it should be a quarter inch over here to the left, and that's fun stuff. And a lot of those decisions haven't changed.
No,
I mean, where the buttons are. One of the fun things to do is because you've got the advanced action buttons that turn into actual action buttons when the action hits. Comes. Well, one of the things you have to think about when you're designing software is, okay, if someone's reaching to do an advanced action fold, you need to make sure that fold pops up behind there, or nothing.
Yeah.
But raise better not happen behind there. And there actually was a site where you could be reaching to do fold to any bet, and if you click a little late, all of a sudden you're calling.
Yeah, or going all in or something.
Here it's in that same space where you're trying to check. So, just those kinds of things. That was a lot of fun to create software where anyone that logs in and starts playing says, okay, someone understood poker who was designing.
Yeah, for sure. There was quite a few guys that had been playing some live poker, and maybe you were the ones that made it most look like live real poker, right? And you had that in mind a lot, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely. We definitely wanted it to be real.
Yeah.
To feel like it was authentic poker. It wasn't just a fight thrown together on the internet.
So developing and finding new ways. Recently you started the Rush Poker thing. Who came up with that?
Yeah, well, that actually wasn't our idea. That's an idea that had been kicked around. I believe these guys had actually shopped it to a few other sites. But I think we saw the potential. And interestingly, it actually was brought to us about 2.5 years ago. And I don't think we were ready for it.
I see.
We're growing fast. We've got issues just keeping up with growth and just catching up on, what I would say would be just sort of fundamental features that the site needed. You always have to prioritize in terms of what kind of software development, what direction you head. But, about a year ago, it was like, what, I think we're ready for this. I think our software development team is they have enough control and grasp of what's going on and the ability to really pull this off and do it right. And, what was brought to us isn't exactly what people are playing now, but it was basically that idea. It needed some tweaking. One of the things that I think, our team in particular was critical, and it's important to the whole concept of Rush Poker, is the quick fold.
Yeah.
But that has to be done right.
Yeah. Oh, that's so important that no one else knows. That's a pretty cool feature, I think, that you can fold, but no one knows.
Right, and that didn't have to happen. So the ability, yes, we had, the idea originally was, okay, the action comes to you, you fold, and now you're dealt into a new hand. But there's a pretty big difference between that and you're sitting on the button with deuce seven, and you can fold, and you're getting a hand right away. You don't have to wait for 4 folds to come around
that's
to
so
you.
cool.
But that does create game integrity issues that have to be solved.
Yeah.
Right. So now you can't allow observers. And you have to make sure that if someone has folded the button and no one in their game knows it, that none of those players are going to be seated with that guy in the next hand.
Exactly.
So there are some programming complexities there where you really have to think through all these things. Nothing's ever easy, and certainly poker wasn't easy to get right.
No, I mean, we're talking about money here, and we don't want to have any loopholes, or you try to avoid any kind of those things.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So, again, I do think that was a feature. I was pretty shocked, actually. I mean, there was a tremendous amount of work that went into making it happen. There was a tremendous amount of thinking about game integrity issues and those kinds of things. But we certainly assumed that we'd get something wrong. We certainly assumed we'd be raked over the coals. How could we do that? How could we, we were prepared to quickly try and make a fix if someone figured it out. But you know what? I mean, it went out there, and not everyone loved it. We didn't think everyone would, but no one's found the hole. No one's found the horrible, fatal flaw of the game.
Wow.
Where they can exploit it.
So did you try it yourself? Do you like it?
Yes, I've played it. It's not, look, I come from a live poker background.
Yeah, I would say maybe old school, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. And I love online poker. But one of the things I love about poker is getting inside someone's head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Rush is fun, but I'm not getting inside people's heads.
No, I know what you're saying.
I'm playing the game. I think it's a great training ground. It's if you want to learn how to play your hands, and that's an important part, right? I mean, for you to get into someone's head, the playing of the hand has to be second nature.
Yeah, for sure.
So if there's a new player out there, or a player who is looking to grind a lot of hands and maybe not, it's a different, it's something I love, getting inside people's heads, but not everyone loves that part of the game. Right?
No.
People love the play of the game, of the hands.
Yeah.
So that's what Rush Poker, it distills the game down to. What do you do with aces up front? What do you do when you flop second pair and you're in position? Do you continuation bet? What do you do? These are fundamental questions that you just kind of have to understand. Rush Poker is a great place to learn that and to play that style of poker. So it just like online poker is different than live poker. Rush Poker is different than online poker.
Yeah.
And I don't think people should get confused and think they're the same thing. They're different.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me what do I prefer, I actually prefer live poker.
Yeah. I mean,
poker and then Rush is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great, and it was never designed to take over poker.
No.
We never thought everyone would just say, "Wow, what are we doing playing this other poker? We should all be playing Rush," and that would become, just like the only thing. We wanted it to become like the next sit and go.
Yeah, I understand, but that's sort of part of the development in poker. I think, of course, the Texas No Limit has been the biggest and is the biggest and will be the biggest for quite a while longer. But I think Full Tilt was there, making, for example, Pot Limit Omaha more popular, in introducing the 7 game to a lot of people, and even making it for people who play with low stakes. Is that something you thought about a lot, trying to find other games under other types?
Poker, that's what's great. I mean, for me, poker is any game where there are rounds of betting as cards in your hands change.
Yeah.
There are unknown cards to you. Some people have hole cards, or of course, in stud games, you then get a late hole card, and some cards are up, some cards are down. But poker is just a game where there are various rounds of betting, and the strength of your hand can change relative to your opponent as the game goes along, and you can bluff. That's what's unique. Right?
Yeah.
There aren't too many other games where you can win the game even when you lost.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you try and get the most points on the board in a basketball game, but at the end of the day, you need to have more points than your opponent to win.
Mhm.
That's the case in poker.